Vidak, aye. Wolk.
Wilk, would you like to vote?
Wolk, aye.
Okay. The last good news is this is the last author members. The bad news is she has 3 bills. All right, but we're okay with that. So file item 10. I think they're setting up some easels here while you're beginning to open. This is Senate Bill 1317. Conditional use permit, groundwater extraction facilities. It is dual referred to Senator Hertzberg's committee in governance and finance, so it'll be discussed twice. Just pausing a moment. We've got the 2 easels.
Oh, look at this. Props, I love props.
That's what I use to condition my beer.
Oh. Okay, Senator Wolk, we're finally ready to begin on file item 10.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One of the most important and positive results of this 5-year drought, and perhaps the only one, is that we recognize the importance and the vulnerability of groundwater, which constitutes somewhere between, on average, 40 to 60% of the water supply in California. The Sustainable Groundwater and Management Act of 2014, that's SGMA, began a long process to bring California water into this century. It's based on local control, it's based on basin-wide collaboration, very good principles that are consistent with my bill 1317. Yet SGMA has, in my view, a major gap. As good as it is, it will take until 2042 to bring basins into balance, meaning the water that goes in equals the water coming out. Meanwhile, many new wells are being dug all over the state at an alarming rate before SGMA gets going, with very little supervision by the counties, the 58 counties who control permitting. And that is what one of the charts shows you, the rapid increase since 2011 of the digging of wells. And it goes from Amador through the Central Valley down to Fresno. We just picked and chose different ones. Like the Wild West, wells are being dug daily. News straws suck the water out of the ground without any idea of the effects on neighboring farmers, neighboring cities, coastal water supplies, or the poor, underserved communities whose wells are running dry or become saturated with salt. The surface land sinks or subsides several feet each year, resulting in broken pipes, threatened bridges, canals, and roads all over the state. And the sponge, which is the aquifer that stores the water underground, dries up, compresses, and may never recharge to the same degree. There's clear evidence that there are depleted groundwater wells, some going completely dry or increasingly contaminated in different parts of the state. NASA reports that, speaking of north and south, that the San Joaquin Valley is sinking at a rate of 2 inches a month in some areas, and NASA has recently shown in 1 year for the California Aqueduct, it sank over 12 inches. That's a foot in a year. Continued subsidence threatens many local and much local infrastructure. And at the same time, there are global changes going on in agricultural production and water use in our state. The phenomenon of investor-owned new orchards, tree crops, in previously dry, uncultivated rangeland to take advantage of this new gold rush for almonds and pistachios and other crops, similar crops, is of serious concern. And I want to make it really clear that I love almonds and pistachios and have no objection to the planting and cultivation of orchards. My counties depend, many of them, on these same tree crops, as long as there is water to be had. Currently, counties have the responsibility and authority to issue well drilling permits. Well permits are often easy to obtain, largely ministerial, that is, over the counter, don't require any real analysis, deep analysis of the impacts on the groundwater basin, on the overall water supply of the community, on the neighbors. This is business as usual, and business as usual needs to stop. That's what SB 1317 is about. Specifically, 1317 requires cities and counties that overlie the high and medium priority groundwater basins as well to perform an analysis of the proposed well to ensure that the new pumps will not create harm, will not have undesirable impacts. Under 1317, no new drilling permits may be issued for the current 21 critically overdrafted basins or probationary basins. SB 1317 will go away once the county has an ordinance in place. Some counties have already acted. We have 58 counties. Some have already acted. San Luis Obispo, Merced, Stanislaus. In fact, moratorium have been put in place on well drilling in Glenn and Colusa counties. They've all adopted different policies to halt or place conditions on new wells, and that's what 1317 is about. It's time for the local communities to take charge of their groundwater basins and assure its protection and safety. With me is Jay Ziegler with the Nature Conservancy, Debbie Orrs with the Community Water Center, and with us, a resident of Oakdale, Mr. Jamie Costin, who will testify about his experience living adjacent to a newly planted almond orchard. I ask for your aye vote.
Who are your two primary witnesses, or did you want to derive the?
I think we'll go with Jay, and we'll go with Jamie. Yeah.
Madam Chair, Senator Wilk, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to be with you today. Senator Wilk, thank you for introducing this legislation and bringing it forward to the committee. We believe that it addresses a critical issue of sustainable groundwater management in California in a way that helps us get to the big picture in sustainable water management for people, for agriculture, and for the environment. SB 1317, we believe, is fully consistent, and we were very active in the discussion on the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act. It provides for local control, as Senator Wilk noted. It recognizes existing water rights and protects the local option to manage that glide path to sustainable management and help get counties in line before 2042, which we think is essential and which we think is a basic expectation of all Californians. Yet at the same time, I don't think there's anyone in this room that would argue that we are actually experiencing sustainable water management today. This bill is a necessary step to avert ministerial actions that simply rubber stamp well permit applications as though the pace of well drilling has no relation to the actual withdrawal of aquifers in California. I would add a data point for all of you to consider also. If you go to the Department of Water Resources website today and look up groundwater, you'll see a rather frightening citation on that website. It notes that there are between 1 and 2 million active wells in California today. Gives you a sense of the variance, lack of information, lack of understanding that we really have about what's happening in groundwater conditions. I would also add a data point on this. The Nature Conservancy completed a study just over a year ago looking at groundwater conditions in the Central Valley. And what we've discerned from that is that even in the Sacramento Valley, which everyone seems to believe is in balance, that we believe is a continuing healthy watershed, we are seeing depleted amounts of surface water reaching the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta today. So that serves as an early alarm that we really do need to get the system in balance. We need to have the right approach to this. We would urge your aye vote on SB 1317 as a sensible approach consistent with local control and consistent with good science in helping us get to sustainable water management. Thank you.
A little demonstration. There's 5.
You're going to somehow need a microphone, correct?
There's 5 almonds in here, and it takes a gallon. It takes a gallon per almond, okay? This is one walnut.
No.
People taking my water and shipping it to China in the form of nuts. That's okay. Stanislaus County in our state is in a critical point regarding groundwater. There are several issues that have caused this situation. I want to address two of them. First, groundwater has never been regulated. No politician wants to touch the issue. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for hearing me.
I have the scars to prove it.
Yeah. And many.
Well, thank you. We've been reaching out, and we just didn't know what to do. This rings true with Stanislaus County and our Board of Supervisors, and it's a critical point of the spear that has killed our groundwater future in East Oakdale and Stanislaus County. The Board of Supervisors in Stanislaus County have allowed over 500 deep ag wells to be put in service in a drought situation in the last 3 years. 60 of those are in East Oakdale in our area. Over 40,000 acres of new almond and walnut trees have been planted in our area. It was all grassland. The majority was grassland, never been farmed. In one specific situation, beautiful grassy hills were totally annihilated. They were removed down at least 30 feet. We question what happened to vernal pools. This year with all the rain, there was a lot of erosion, and even with all the moisture we have, Senator Wolk quoted that NASA has measured, and they know, Jay Famlighetti, they can see that the Central Valley is being sucked dry. We've not added any above-ground storage since 1979. The population of California has grown from 15 million to 38 million. By 2020, 46 million, over 3 times the growth. We have the 8th largest economy here in the world. In 1931, there was something called the Dust Bowl, and we could have that here. If we have a 10-year drought, it could happen here. I don't know if you've ever tasted dust or smelled it. I'm from New Mexico. 6 years ago, they had that drought. I went to visit my mom. Inside of her house, you could taste dust, okay? We don't want that here. An event like that could devastate California. We need to mandate that our irrigation districts can't pump groundwater unless they replenish it. We have Oakdale Irrigation pumping our groundwater for irrigation. We need to protect that. We've got to create local residential formation commissions. There's commissions to protect farmers. I grew up on a farm and ranch. I'm not against the farmers. I know he's got cherries, but 30 miles north of where you are with your cherry farm.
Just keep your comments.
Okay, sorry, is Firebaugh. And we know that Firebaugh, California has no water. They don't have any surface water and they don't have any groundwater. They've pumped it dry. The second main critical reason that we find ourselves in this situation is the amount of greed and corporate farming that has infused our area. Just one example, the paper has called them a hedge fund farming group, Trinitas. They purchased 7,200 acres in the East Oakdale area. It was a quiet thing that just kind of happened. And people don't get in the fight until you get punched in the nose. I got punched in the nose when a farmer put a well 200 yards from our well and about 10 other homeowners. When your water starts to drop 3 to 4 feet a month, because my well pumps 15 gallons a minute, his well pumps 1,500 gallons a minute. It takes 100 of my wells to equal his wells. I have no recourse. I can sign up to get a well and then wait 10, maybe 14 months to have it put in and pay for it, okay? Our local irrigation district sells water out of the area. Our local farmers want that water. It's beyond me. We've been able to change some of that, but we have got to keep our water local and recharge our aquifers. San Joaquin County is in much better shape than Stanislaus County. They recharge their aquifers. Other cities do as well. That needs to be mandated. We have got to think, God gave us this country. He gave us the water. I want my kids, they're here. I want them to be able to bring their grandkids back to my house. It's insanity. Tulare, 13,000, over 10,000, or over 1,013 dry wells, 500 to 2,000 feet in depth. I can't afford that, okay? We have got to protect our groundwater. Okay. I'll submit the rest.
Yes, well, thank you very much for your testimony and personal experience, part of the story. Other members in testifying in support? Name and affiliation.
Debbie Orrs is Community Water Center, and we work with counties to help with their groundwater ordinances, so we've supported this bill because the locals aren't doing anything, and we need the state to step in. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Eddie Moreno on behalf of Sierra Club California, Clean Water Action, and Leadership Council in support.
And Vern Gehring on behalf of Food and Water Watch in support of the bill. Thank you.
Matt Milan on behalf of CalCan, we're in support as well. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Opposition to this bill? We're going to have your witnesses clear out, because there's two primary witnesses, or?
I resemble that remark.
Dennis says he resembles that remark.
He does.
We have a small.
All right, you're going first?
So,
Yes.
thank you, Senator Pavley, members of the committee. Danny Merkley with the California Farm Bureau Federation, representing nearly 53,000 family farms and individual members. When Governor Brown signed the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, he said a central feature of this bill is recognition that groundwater management is best accomplished locally. Again, last year, the governor signed the budget trailer bill, Senate Bill 88, which gives CEQA exemptions to cities, counties, and public agencies adopting ordinances that restrict new groundwater wells. This bill is a taking. Going back to when we were working on the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, Senator Pavley, you and I had a number of discussions about impacting existing water rights, and it was clearly understood that the bills that became SGMA did not do that. This does. This is impacting unexercised groundwater rights. People that have not had to tap into their groundwater either because they've had adequate surface water supplies that have been taken away now and they need to tap into it, or for other reasons. Many farmers' annual operating loans are supported by their land values. I've seen many very good farmers in my day go out of business when their land values were cut in half. Their loans were due and payable today. Not only is this an impact on farmers, but it's an impact on the local tax rolls, on the local economies when you devalue land that way. Many of the 21 groundwater basins are just a year away from establishing their GSAs or having the State Water Board come in and take over that for them. 4 years away for the first plans that are due. When we talk about how much water things use and importing or exporting water, just like to point out something that even UC Davis put out in a study when we talked about water exports. It's about 39,000 gallons of water to produce a car, 2,000 gallons of water to produce 4 tires for that car, 37 gallons of water to bring you your 12-ounce cup of coffee. We're importing a lot of water. And the water that goes into growing almonds, walnuts, goes into the wood that sequesters carbon. It goes into recharging groundwater tables. It is evapotranspirated out from the trees. There is much more that goes into the use of that water than just the production of that one nut. So I think it's important to keep these things straight. And with all due respect, I'm a little concerned about the assertion that there's very little supervision, that this is business as usual, and that we're just rubber stamping new wells going in. That is not the case at all, particularly in those 21 groundwater basins that are stepping up now. 21 groundwater basins out of the 515 that we have in the state. Thank you. I respectfully ask for your no vote.
Thank you. Next.
Good afternoon. Madam Chair, members of the committee, Lauren Nolan-Tajik on behalf of California Dairies, Inc., California Fresh Fruit Association, California Citrus Mutual, California Cotton Ginners and Growers Association, Western Ag Processors Association, Western Plant Health Association, and Nisi Farmers League.
And I think that's the end of your testimony time. No, go ahead, sorry.
In opposition to the bill. Thank you.
Stipulate.
I first
All
just
tree crop organizations, stipulate that.
I first want to just echo what Mr. Merkley said, that we're concerned that this bill interferes with the work that local agencies are currently doing under the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act. Local agencies have really been stepping up, trying to get those beneficial users in their areas engaged in the process and ensuring that they're putting together groundwater sustainability plans that serves their area and really looks at how we can sustainably manage our groundwater basins in the future. We don't want anything to thwart that process because it is contentious. It is very hard, it's going to be very expensive, and it's going to require everyone in those basins to work together to make it work. Second, we're a little concerned with the timelines that are in this bill. City and counties under this bill are required to have a permitting process in place by January 1, 2017, and that permitting process has to be based on that new groundwater extraction facility won't cause or contribute to any undesirable results in the basin. The concern we have with this is that while SGMA outlines what undesirable results are and defines them, the groundwater sustainability agencies will actually be determining what undesirable results are occurring in their basin and when those undesirable results become significant and unreasonable. That's done through their plan, which won't be in place until 2020 or 2022. So we're just concerned on how cities and counties are supposed to put in permitting with conditions on undesirable results when those undesirable results for the basin or portions of the basin won't be defined until the groundwater sustainability plan is in place. Thank you, and I would ask for your no vote.
All right. Those were the two primary witnesses. Other people that wish to lend their name and position on this bill?
Madam Chair, members, Mary Ann Warmerdam, Rural Counties Association. We're sympathetic to the senator and look forward to working with her.
All right.
Western Growers Association and opposed.
Valerie Nero for the California Chamber of Commerce were opposed.
Whitney Wiley with the Association of California Water Agencies opposed.
Trudy Hughes of the California League of Food Processors opposed.
Erin Keene with the California State Association of Counties in strong opposition.
Madam Chair, the members, Paul Yoder on behalf of our county clients, Kern, Merced, Sacramento, San Joaquin in opposition. Look forward to working with the author to see if that opposition could be removed. Thank you.
Any other opposition to this measure? Okay, seeing and hearing none, open it up for questions or comments from members here. I'll just start by saying I thought some of the suggestions listed in the staff analysis are worth contemplation of. This is going to be a difficult bill to pass, but some of the frustrations articulated not only by your witnesses, but by real world things, finding out how many people essentially have struggled to access their fair share of the water because other people with their crop conversion are drilling deeper and deeper, leaving others high and dry. And so the water rights for some have taken away water rights for others. And state taxpayers, all of us, are backfilling in. Now, yes, we need rain and we need snow, we need access to water, but depleting of the groundwater basins and the subsidence, it really is an ongoing emergency. We have SGMA in place. I thought staff's suggestion on a sunset provision upon adoption of a plan might give even more incentive to adopt your plans sooner than later or something like that. I would like to see, frankly, local governments involved in issuing a conditional use permit. We're finding just procedural over-the-counter doesn't really look at maybe inadvertent consequences of changes in land use that require drilling down to a depleted groundwater basin. Your bill, Senator Wilk, applies to the 127 basins, correct?
Correct.
Not all 515.
High, medium, and 20 overdraft.
I know you'll continue to have meetings with all the interest party because you would do that normally, but also in order to address some of the concerns. And the people that testified, I'm sensitive to the issues on people having existing water rights, but I guess the challenge is at the expense of others.
Correct.
Or how do you balance that? And who could take into account all those overlying property owners under groundwater basins so that their right to access to drinking water for home purposes is available? So those are my comments, and if there's anyone else, I'm sure over here. Oh, let's look over here. Senator Vidak.
Madam Chair, could I comment response to yours and then Senator Vidak? I appreciate your comments and take them to heart. I just want to reemphasize, that there are 58 counties and several counties are moving forward with this, so it's not an impossible task. I really do look forward to working with those who recognize that there is a problem and to see if we can ameliorate the kind of problems that do exist and are recognized by at least 5 counties, 2 who have put moratoria on that. So I thought the analysis was excellent in your comments as well, and I'll take them to heart.
Senator Vidak.
Thank you. I guess my question, I've got a lot of things I'd love to discuss with you, but, we're, as a senator representing much of the area, or a big part of the area, that in 4 counties down there that are dealing with SGMA at a local level right now. I mean, I live there. I know what's going on. I know
Me too.
the many, many things, because I actually live there, and the communities that I represent are all dealing with this, and I know it firsthand probably more than anyone. And I'm just wondering why we need this when, what's changed since last year. I mean, we can talk about, we've had a tremendous amount of rain, we've had a tremendous amount of things coming on, but part of this discussion really is a lack of surface water delivery, and in my district, the acreage has actually gone down. We're not busting out prairies. We're not, planting a whole bunch of new stuff. The acreage is actually going down. And I'm just, our locals, we're very concerned. We have this SGMA that we're having to deal with, and we're taking it. So what's changing? Why do we need this? And the other thing is so many of these basins, even within the Kings Basin, there's sub-basins, and we are working on different basins because they're all different. Oakdale is going to be different than East Orosi. Arvin, Lamont is going to be different than Huron and Mendota and Tranquility in those areas. So kind of a one-size-fits-all never works from here that I've ever seen, whether it's in education or anything else. And I think this is a big blanket. And then I also, what's changed since we've already put in these restrictions that are coming.
Mm-hmm. I, too, agree with you about that one size does not fit all, and I think this legislation follows the path of SGMA in respecting the differences of local communities, local groundwater basins, subbasins, and local conditions. And that, I think, is built into the bill and is meant to be built into the bill. If it's not, I welcome discussion with you about that. The evidence is pretty clear. I didn't cite all of the evidence that I have from NASA, UC Davis, Columbia University, the almond industry itself, Scientific American, that have been in different parts of the groundwater areas and have done studies and documented the changes that have occurred since the beginning of the drought. The drought's exacerbated all of that. And I'm sure you recognize that there are problems. If your particular county has no evidence of a problem, if there aren't farmers coming to the Board of Supervisors and asking for help, as this farmer did to Stanislaus, as others have gone to Merced and others, then so much the better. But others have. And what I'm saying is it's time to take ownership of that if you are a county. And that's what the bill is trying to do. It's not trying to hammer somebody. It's trying to say, you have a problem here, as documented by DWR, not by me, by DWR and by the other evidence that we have. So act.
Again, by one who lives there, they are, and they're moving in the right direction. And I just, this is just kind of overbearing, and I hate it when, or I dislike it very much when folks try to manage the groundwater when they're not managing the surface water correctly, especially in this year, and it's a little scary. So I'll be opposing this.
I'm on the map too. Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion on the bill? Senator Allen moves the bill. Senator Wilk, if you would like to close. I think, obviously you can hear the difference of opinion. They're valid, they're real. You're going to have to spend some time.
Absolutely. I recognize this as
The concept is right. Sigma's not coming fast enough. Surface water storage expansions aren't coming fast enough. So in the meantime, what do we do for the next 6 years? Sort of ignore the problem and hope or create long-term damage, because the worst thing about groundwater subsidence is when the geological areas are flattened and come together, it doesn't refill itself. So that was our insurance policy. Not all. Some?
Not all.
Most? Well, we'll have that discussion later, because I would like to.
That's part of the problem, is that that's not.
Depends upon the soil type or.
And the subsurface and what's going on.
Okay. The geologic makeup of that particular basin. Thank you. I'd actually like to know more on that, because that's a generic statement that I've heard a lot of times.
Yes.
Right?
Growing food is a waste of water. We've heard that too many generic.
No, we need to have food, yes. All right.
All right. I would just like to close by asking you for your aye vote and saying that I look forward to discussions with those who are in opposition, as well as those who are in support, and my colleagues.
And you'll be hearing from this next in governance and finance.
Indeed.
And the motion is to pass to governance and finance.
I ask for your aye vote. And thank you for the discussion.
Senators Pavley.
Aye.
Pavley, aye. Stone? Stone, no. Allen? Allen, aye. Hertzberg? Hertzberg, aye. Hueso? Jackson? Monning? Vidak? Vidak, no. Wolk?
Aye.
Wolk, aye.